These floors, when I first moved into this apartment, were painted. They are real tile. I think they're probably ceramic, although they could be actual stone. It's kind of hard to tell with the color. They have texture to them because they're a floor tile, and I don't know if that's because they're a floor tile or if it's because they're real stone. But when I first moved in here, the people that owned the apartment before, or that owned the home this apartment's in before my family bought it, had painted the floor black. It seems like they put down some sort of glue and then paper, and then they painted over the top of that. And it was it looked okay. It was cracking in parts, especially in the grout area, because they didn't do anything to level out the height of the grout with the height of the tile. There's, I don't know, maybe a couple centimeters of height difference. Huh. She likes the floor too. And the cracks were getting to be a little problematic when I was trying to clean the floor. Also, it wasn't really, it was like a matte paint. I think it was supposed to be sealed on a regular basis, and it seemed like it hadn't been. And I live by the beach, and so whenever I would come inside, or sometimes when my cat, I let her go outside occasionally with supervision, she likes to roll around in the sand, and then she brings it back in, and I would bring it back in too, because my door's right over here, and so it would just be like me sweeping sand around into cracks. So I tested and peeled some of it off just to see what it looked like underneath and how crazy the tile might be. Oh, thanks for coming. Bye. Oh, stretch the cams. Yeah. I peeled some of it off just to see what it would look like, and I saw like some of the dark green colors that are in it. It's almost, I don't know how well the color's translating on camera, but it's kind of an emerald green. It's like there's a decent amount of blue to it, but it's very much green. And it's kind of variegated. There's some white and dark versions of that color in there. Anyway, I saw that and I was like, you know, it's not the floor tile color that I would pick, but it's gotta be better than painted floors. There was just something about the texture of walking on paint when it was painted tile and like painted paper on top of tile that felt wrong. It felt so weird. I hated it. Because in the summertime, I will walk around in here barefoot because I will be coming from outside and it makes sense. But it was just an awful texture. And so I decided that because I could live with the color that was peeking through when I peeled a little bit of it up, I went ahead and took some of that orange stuff that you use to, like, you put it on, it sits for 24 hours with saran wrap over the top of it, and then you scrape it off. I used that to get rid of all of the paint in this space. And I think it's like 12 feet back and 11 feet across, because the bench is right there and the tile doesn't go all the way into the bench. And then there's a little threshold here. But so it was a big space, and I did it in increments over a couple weeks. I ended up like doing basically the whole back half. One evening I just got like clear paint drop cloth, like the plastic ones, the 3mm, and just covered it with the orange stuff and then put that on top and let it sit overnight. And I mean, there were a couple spots that I had to go over a second time, but for the most part that got rid of it really well. You can still see little bits of weird paint something in some of the grout areas, but it feels so much better. I can't even, like, the difference in a natural material versus latex paint is wild. Like the energy that I get from it, the way that it like feels grounding to my body instead of like concerning is crazy. And it's something that I've been learning a little bit about as I explore feng shui more, is natural materials and how like biophilic design as well. Like it's just so much better for our bodies to be around natural materials rather than man-made materials. And it's crazy to experience that through my feet. I will say I don't walk on the tile barefoot in the winter because it's really cold, but it just feels so much better. It just feels so much better. I don't even have words to explain how it feels so much better. And I mean, the color's a little crazy. It's a little not of this decade, and that's okay because I don't need millennial gray floors. I have that throughout the rest of the house in the vinyl plank. Yeah. It's so crazy how something as seemingly simple as changing the flooring can change the way a space affects us. I think that I have not had issues walking on like painted hardwood flooring. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've been on painted hardwood, but I think that feels okay. But there's something about like the painted paper, and it was like a matte texture. It was just so weird. It was unsettling. It was very unsettling. And as I lean more into like embracing my sensory issues, sensory side, whatever, of being autistic and being a multisensory person, I appreciate this tile so much. Yeah, it's not always the easiest change to make if you can't just, like spend a couple weeks peeling up paper and paint. Flooring is kind of a big piece of work, and it's potentially a hefty price tag, especially if you can't DIY it. But I think we need to think about flooring more. It's so integral to how we interact with a space because it is the thing that we are always touching, or like rugs or carpets or whatever. But unless you're like sitting on something, you are touching the floor all the time. Even like if you're sitting on something, your feet might still be on the floor. So flooring consideration needs to be a much bigger part of design when it comes to designing for like our own healing and our own growth. Because walking on this real tile is grounding, and grounding is healing for me. Walking on floors that make me feel uncertain and stress me out as far as cleaning is not healing for me. Yeah. I will say I have had a hard time figuring out if I should put a rug in here. I have a bunch of rugs throughout the house, but none of them are really like the right color to go with this. Well, I guess the black one could be, but that one's got a really high pile, and this is also my office space behind the panels here. So that probably wouldn't work, having a rolling chair on like a 1-inch thick pile of carpet. But hello. Yep, there she is. Reese came to say hello. Reese, you want to say hello? Hi. What are you doing? I don't think she likes the tile right now because it's a little cold on her toes. Yeah. But yeah. So if you're in the process of planning a space or redoing a space and you're figuring out your selections, your materials, I highly encourage you to be a little weird and maybe, you know, walk on it barefoot before you buy it. See how it feels, because you're gonna have to walk on it barefoot a lot. And sometimes out of date, emerald green, possibly real stone, probably ceramic tile is the way to go. Yeah. Oh, did she climb up? She went up. See you later.